Hello, hello. Welcome back to Password. We're starting day 16. I don't remember what happens on day 16. I'll be honest. Let me turn up the volume of the game just a little bit. I was enveloped in warmth, and the gentle glow from the internal heat Orlando had provided a dim nightlight to help me see. All things considered, he seemed to be sleeping soundly, although, as I shifted, he frowned and reached out for me in his sleep. A gentle hand on his snout was enough to settle him. His hands fall limp to the bed now, now content I was still around. But that was partially the trouble. I wanted to be around, but he kept pushing me away, even so, even so far as leaving without telling me why, and in turn leaving me feeling brokenhearted. Rolling out of bed, I put on clothes. With everything going on, I needed to clear my head, and I walked out, and I hoped a walk would help. Oh yeah, I think I remember that conversation. It's actually just been too long. Oh well, I'll be able to finish Orlando this part. We'll see. My eyes went to Tyson, wondering where'd he go. You know, I think that often as well. Although I didn't have too long to worry, with Haas already moving towards him upon seeing him looking to Dean. Well, I guess even Tyson has a group. That works. Oh yeah, Oh, this is where you go looking for more medals, right? Following breakfast, I found myself wandering upstairs with Orlando, only to watch him collapse belly first into a beanbag. Are you okay? I'm fine. That's my line. I wander closer and as I did, Orlando rolled over on his back, sighing out. Well, I'm borrowing it for a bit. He stretched out, but made no effort to get up, staring up at the ceiling. Back to the medals again? Oh, I don't think we're finishing his part today. Seems that way. Because this route goes all the way to day 18, right? Yeah. Any idea on where we should start looking? If I'm being honest, I don't really care. Not anymore, at least. There's nothing that could be offered to me that could make me want to find them now. But back when it was a game, sure. But for a brief moment, he clawed the air, frustrated, then resolved to just groaning out and rubbing his face. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be a downer. There's enough going on as it is. I sat down next to him on the floor as he moved so he could look at me without twisting his body. It sucks. Why do we have to find the medals? We could be doing literally anything else, but it's just those damn... Orlando, well, the medals were meant to distract us from thinking too hard, and things are things distracting you that much? No, well, maybe a little. But it's just so much to deal with at once. I could be teaching you to cook, or give you advice, or literally anything else. Well, alright. What's something else we could be doing? Screw the medals, then. How about we talk about you for a bit? Me? What? Specifically about me? How are you doing? How are you holding up? I mean, given you're probably had the worst of it out of all of us. Oh, well, I'm fine. Sorry, haven't given that back to you yet. That line's still on loan. Okay, I'm doing okay. I rested back on my side, mimicking Orlando. Not great, but doing okay. It's strange, almost like I feel lighter somehow. Like I've let go of a lot of baggage, but in turn, I've just started picking up more. All that stuff with the rabbit, the road not being a way out.
The vault?
Right, yes, the vault.
Speaking of, that thing you saw.
Oh?
I want to know what you saw, like the details. We're long past trying to protect me just because it's dangerous. We're all in danger.
Please, Dave, what good is that going to do? You've got enough to worry about.
I just need to know. Maybe it's to give us a clue. Maybe it'll tell us something new rather than us just waiting for what's going to happen next.
There isn't much to tell you, honest. Look, why don't we talk about Dean instead? You like Dean, right?
I mean, I prefer Tyson, but because I don't want to talk about Dean.
What?
You've been doing this more and more, and I've had it. Dean shouldn't be some go-to excuse you have when I want to talk with my best friend.
It's not!
But it is. Why did you bring up Dean out of the blue right now?
I don't know. It was just something to talk about.
And you're sure it's not because you're so intent on us hooking up?
What the hell, Dave? It's not about that at all.
I sat up and balled my fist on my knee, giving Orlando my best, most fierce frown. But I think it is. I think you're just not wanting to talk about the serious stuff because you're too afraid of something.
I'm not. I'm not afraid of anything.
Not even your dad?
My dad can go to hell.
Then, if it's not him, there's only one person it could be. He didn't, prompt me further, shifting so that he was sitting up and giving me a frown of his own. You're scared of me. He wasn't expecting it, eyes growing wide and his anger shattering into confusion. Or maybe it was worry, I couldn't quite tell. Your dad is the boss of the boss of the mafia. You've probably seen stuff that my dad protected me from every time he went to work.
That's not true.
But the moment it comes to me, you start to change the subject or freeze up. Why are you scared of me?
I'm telling you, I'm not scared of you.
Then what is it?
It's because I love you.
The moment the words left his mouth, we both stiffened, leaning back from one another. As much as I tried to lock eyes with him, he quickly shifted his elsewhere. You love me?
I love you.
There was nothing but silence between the two of us. His confession trailed off into silence. Oh. What else was I to say to that? It felt lacking, but I was so blindsided. I didn't even know what to say or do.
Sorry, that wasn't fair.
Is it true, though, that you love me?
Maybe.
Orlando, you can't just say something like that and just give me a maybe.
What I know is that the closer we get to the month ends, the closer we get to this month ending, the more it hurts. The more of whatever this is, I
reach out for his hand and he flinched, pulling away.
I don't know what this feeling is. I just want it to stop.
Then what can we do? How can I help?
You can't. We can't. You know why I bring Dean up. Why I keep bringing Dean up? Because the moment I think that you're spoken for, the sooner it happens, the easier all this becomes. I don't need to think about it.
You're an idiot. I didn't know what to feel or what to say, but that was the first thing that came to mind. I'm an idiot.
Don't say that.
We're not too different. Not wanting to think about things. You should know that already.
Your dad?
And whatever this is. He seemed to sit there, limp and propped up only by the cushioning of the beanbag. His voice was quiet when he next spoke, barely looking at me.
I'm an idiot.
I'm gonna agree. A little.
Gee, thanks.
I mean it, though. You could have told me that about this sooner, and we could have just, I don't know, figured it out without letting it bottle up. Orlando shifted uncomfortably on his beanbag, muttering quietly.
Now I feel like a jerk for comparing this to your dad.
Don't, it's honest.
You know what that talk about... You know all that talk, Dean has about this? Ideal date and whatever. The romance.
What about it?
Part of me wonders what it's like. But in good faith, I can't really commit to that, you know?
Not even a little bit?
The son of the Mafia going out with some hot guy for dinner and fawning over each other as lovers do. Not a good look.
Doesn't seem right. You can't just, do that without fear or persecution.
Most people probably wouldn't care, or really do even dare to say anything. But... about it, but it's the small things. Holding hands, cuddling together in bed, you know.
Stuff we do?
Maybe a bad example.
I don't think it is really. Just, I want to know what you want and where that leaves me. He sighed and rubbed a hand through his mane, moving to scratch and tug at his beard nervously.
Dave, I went over this already, but what I want is too much. I want to not have to go into the crime business. I want my bakery. I want my family. I want my friends.
He met my gaze for a bit, mouth slightly agape, as if wanting to say something else, but the words never came. You want the world to be different.
Yeah, I want the world to be different.
Well, maybe it could happen. Who knows what might happen after the end of this month, after all?
You've got me there.
But you have to tell me what you saw in the vault. It's really the only lead we have right now. Orlando lay back, placing his hands on his chest and playing with his fingers. The way his tail twitched hinted that he was bothered, but if anything, I took that as an indication that he was thinking about it.
Dave?
Yeah?
I don't know what it was like for you, but it was scary. Almost like I was there.
Really?
At first, I thought it was some kind of VR thing, or like one of those sci-fi rooms you thought were neat when... where it makes stuff real.
That's different to what I had. For me, it was just like a vague recollection.
Well, it was a lot closer to like lucid dreaming. The floor was dirty, and the place was dark, wooden walls, a high ceiling, the place looked abandoned.
Okay, that doesn't sound like anywhere in the house so far.
I don't think it was this house at all. Benson keeps the place too tidy. Plus, those hooks.
What specifically about them?
Dave, are you sure you need to know about this? It's kind of making me a little sick.
Please, just a little more.
I told you that there was a bear there, I think, right?
You said you weren't sure if it was Dean or not.
Right, well, it was so dark I couldn't tell, and he seemed to be chuckling or laughing about something, standing nearby to where you were, just there, hanging.
So he was dressed like Dean, aside from being a bear. What reason do you have to think it'd be Dean?
Pretty much. Hard to miss that flannel shirt, but it was torn up and up a whole bunch.
A fight, maybe?
You against Dean? I don't think you'd fare too well if he was, too full on his strength. Were to use his full strength. You're only a hyena.
Hey, hyenas can do stuff, but I guess you're right. Was there anything else?
It was dark. Let me think.
He sat up, suddenly, looking about the room before stating quietly one word.
Roswell. He was with Roswell.
He was with me. What? Interesting. Wait, really?
I think we discovered you together, maybe. He was behind me, so that'd be my guess.
This isn't giving me much.
I told you, there's not much here to really help us.
Well, it's given me something at least.
It has. What?
When I was out in the woods, Uh, when I ran into the rabbit, I found a watermill, really run down, but mostly stone. Then underground, there were large machines, metal and more stone, concrete maybe.
That doesn't sound safe.
Maybe not, but it wasn't wood. There weren't any hooks. It almost felt like it was something else, but whatever it was long since abandoned, I think.
And if there's no wood?
Then that's not the place your vision took place, yeah? But the other thing that worries me is, where was Jack?
Jack? The rabbit?
Yeah, he wanted me dead, or at least made an attempt at it. Why wasn't he there?
I don't know. Maybe he killed you already and then left you there for us to find.
And then Dean went mad? If that was Dean? Orlando shrugged, and I found myself trembling a little. Maybe it was the talk of my death, finally sinking in now that we hit another roadblock. Dean wouldn't hurt me, I know that. But then the only reasonable explanation would be...
I don't mean to be a downer, but are you sure he wouldn't? He's a big guy, for you, and this whole situation is making us stressed out.
I'm sure. Besides, there's something in my gut telling me that if there's one guy in the woods, well, maybe your dad sent in just one guy to do... would your dad send in just one guy to do a job?
You've got me there. There was one thing Dad listened to Grandpa about. At least doing his into a job with someone else covering your back.
Why do you think that is? I would have thought, like, dragons could just do whatever they wanted, like the fire and stuff.
We're not indestructible, Dave. It might be harder to do harm, but it's not impossible. Even then, not everyone is a family is a dragon. A fair few, but not all.
Would your dad send a dragon with a rabbit all the way out here?
I honestly don't know. He might have. He might not have. Maybe he sent a bear because of the woods, a wolf because Oswin is a boar. Who knows?
I thought he went a rabbit because of Oswin.
You know, that's probably true too, given how he reacted.
Carefully, Orlando reached over and touched my chest, his palm pressed firm but gentle against it.
I don't know what's going to happen next, Dave, but when you went wandering into the woods that day, I started to think that the next time I saw you would be impaled through the neck.
I quivered under his touch, and I could feel him tremble, his tremble run through his arm into me, his voice lowered again, timid.
If it's not the watermill, and it's not this house, then...
It's somewhere we haven't been yet.
That almost sounds like you're planning on finding it.
No, just, if we're in the house, we can relax a little. If we're just in the surrounding area, the only thing we need to worry about is that rabbit, and nothing else for now.
Well, that's...
Orlando pulled his hands away and rubbed his eyes, a smile slowly forming on his face.
Well, it's something we can find peace in a little bit.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, this whole thing still has me terrified, but it's something, right?
Right. But I'm still not hunting for those medals, though.
Wait, why? Getting up from his beanbag, he wandered over to the gaming console and switched the system on, wandering back with a controller.
I meant it before, when I said that hunting for the medals isn't doing anything for me, but games I like. Let the others busy themselves with the scavenger hunt. I want my player too.
And we just did that. I went and grabbed a controller, and we spent the day gaming. Sure, there was a break for lunch, but we were in our own little world, hearing very little of the others beyond the times they passed by the door. If I didn't know any better, I could have fooled myself into thinking it was just another day spent with my best friend, fumbling about the games we played and having fun all the while. And that was a cute scene. I forgot how many times you just talked to Oswin and Benson post, like, massacre. Rolling onto my bed, I found myself staring at the ceiling. I was focused, but likely on the wrong thing. It wasn't about survival, but maybe the day I had in general. I got to spend an actual enjoyable day with someone I cared about, which made me feel somewhat more relaxed despite everything going on. Reaching over, I pulled out my phone and started to look through the various things I had recorded of Orlando, and I spending time together. Places we've been, food he's made me try. I went through our conversations. Most of the time, it was us just excitedly yelling at one another over random things. New paint I've gotten, or a new cookbook he found, the various pictures swapped back and forth of us being just us. When I switched off the lights, I had a stupid smile on my face. I was happy. In that moment, I felt a sense of peace that I relished, but something was still missing. Maybe I just didn't want the feeling to end, but all I could think of was Orlando being right there with me. Plugging my phone in, I rolled over and tried to get some sleep. I was going to need it for the next couple of days, if the feeling in my gut was correct. Okay. We're going to just skip boo. It is true. His eyes do shift. Huh. I wonder if it's just like these are specific portraits. So I don't think like some are. Oh, that's his bed. That one's super cute. I mean, yeah. Is it an oversight? Or is that relevant? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking. Oh, Orlando led me here once. Right where we're standing was where we found the Aquarius medal.
Oh, yeah? Florencia's having a bit of a laugh with where she hid those medals.
You know that she hid them?
No, lots of things. She didn't hide this one, though. That was Benson.
Explains why he gave us the clue, then. Did he mention that last time? Oh, okay. And then we do that. Yeah, Does this conversation not change? Oh, I thought for sure it would. This is the good boy. Okay. Orlando said it. Okay. It's all good. It's all good. Oh, right. Man, I feel like I have to, like, reread the game to, like, remember a bunch of shit. I don't know, would you all be interested if I, like, replayed Tyson's route but streamed it? You know? Maybe I'll call it Attempts to Simp. Maybe. Orlando was next to me on my left and spent the better part of breakfast rubbing his face in an attempt to wake up. Or maybe it was just to cover the mistake he'd made in greeting Tyson. I followed my gut on where he'd be, and about halfway up the stairs, I just had to follow the sound of video games coming from the rec room. Orlando? He didn't look up, still focused on his game. Part of me wondered if he even knew I was there as I slowly approached. Orlando, can we talk?
Just a sec.
His reply surprised me. mostly in that his eyes never left the screen. So few times had I seen him like this that I started to think I had done something wrong just before he set his controller aside. He patted the spot to me quietly, and I took the invitation to sit, not really sure how things were going to play out.
What's wrong?
I'm just been thinking a lot.
About?
Where do I even start? Collapsing back on the beanbag, I stared at the paused game on the screen in front of us. What did you keep your family from me? Why did you keep your family from me? About who they are.
Why do you think you've met my dad? You know who they are now, so I just assumed.
As I trailed off, I could feel him turn the screen rather than... I can't read. As he trailed off, I could feel him turn to the screen rather than to look at me, copying how I was sitting.
I was scared you'd hate me. I was scared that if you knew too much, you'd just be removed. Wouldn't be the first, after all.
But even after so long? After I've been to your house?
Well, I just assumed you'd piece it together at some point, or that you already had and figured it was best not to say anything.
My silence must have made him uneasy. It's stretching out just long enough for him to start talking again, and quickly.
We've spoken about this already, haven't we? Is that really what's bothering you?
We're friends, right? Before anything else.
You're starting to scare me a little. What's going on? Is this what was happening this morning?
No, not about this morning.
Then what?
Breathing in deep, I closed my eyes and shifted so I was facing him. Slowly opening my eyes, I saw him scanning my face quickly, unsure of what I was going to come out with. I'm worried about what's going to happen when you're going home, if we're ever going to get home. He went to speak, but I cut him off by continuing. I'm worried about you. Us. About the others.
Us? What about us?
This vacation has changed us all, Orlando. I don't understand how or why, but certain things I remember being familiar aren't anymore, and it's so strange.
I haven't changed.
But you have. You've become this person who I've both closer to, but feel like you're keeping me at a distance, even before you told me about what's going to happen at the end of the month.
But I haven't changed, I promise.
You have, or maybe I just changed enough that it's making me just wonder how much I've been out of it since Dad died, how naive I've been to things.
What do you mean?
There was no reason I should have thought your parents were bankers for as long as I did. Maybe I just wanted to pretend I didn't have my suspicions, or maybe I just didn't want to potentially worry about it.
Maybe.
Or maybe it was just some other thing, like, take Tyson feeling like I'm his brother, or how I invited him without worrying about anyone else's feelings, except my own.
It's understandable, in hindsight, though. He's family to you.
It goes beyond Tyson, though. I sat up and hugged my knees, shifting my weight back and forth and rocking in place. When I went out into the woods by myself, and a couple times before, I'd thought about it, about how if it was, if it all were just to end this, then wouldn't that be easy? I snuck a glance at Orlando, and he'd sat up too, although his mouth was quivering despite holding his silence. I'd never thought about things like that before Dad died, when we would just hang out, or even when it was just any other day. I had no reason to ever think I'd one day consider dying, but where I trailed off, Orlando continued.
It happened. Those thoughts happen now, and now even without them, we're in danger. From my family, no less.
Some vacation, huh? The pair of us fell into silence again, and eventually I felt one of Orlando's hands on my back, rubbing it gently.
It'll be okay.
Will it?
It's got to be. What's the alternative?
We die, Orlando. Worst case scenario is that it's not okay, and that's just how it is now, isn't it? I sniffled, starting to laugh, but I just broke down and started to cry. Not a lot, but I didn't know how to process this mix of emotions I was feeling.
How? Hey, don't cry. It's going to be okay.
Even if we survive, I lose my best friend after this month, Orlando. His hand froze, but I could feel his finger flexing while I tried to clear my throat, my vision.
I sure did make a mess of things by not telling you, huh?
What makes it worse is that I still feel like I don't actually have anything under control at all. Whining, I tugged at my ears, doubling down. Then, there's the whole thing with Tyson, and the password, and it's all just...
Hold on, what password?
I hung my head, covering my eyes with my hands. I couldn't rightfully tell Orlando that Tyson was going to kill him, could I? That felt like it'd just make things worse. It happened again. I got the Vault to work.
And you didn't tell us?
What was I to do? I panicked.
Well, that's easy. We go call a group meeting now and try and stop it. Just like we did when we went looking for the gun, right?
He made to get out of the beanbag, and I latched onto his arm, pulling as much dead weight as I could to anchor him to the spot. No, not yet.
We were going to have to give him a reason, Dave. Well, you're going to have to give me a reason, Dave. The others deserve to know.
It was you.
Me? What?
It was enough to make him sit down and hear me out at least, and he repeated the question before I could figure out what to say. Everything that happened yesterday led up to me trying things out in the vault, and, well...
The blackout. Oh, when you came to find Tyson and me fighting.
No, it was after that. You and him fight again, or might, depending.
And who?
The way he asked told me he already knew the answer and just wanted me to confirm it, which I did with the look I gave him.
Oh.
This time we can still figure out a way to stop it from happening. It just might... it just might take some work.
Well, where do we start?
Well, I breathe in, holding it to my chest, and not sure if it was right to suggest the first thing that came to mind.
You've got an idea, and I'm not going to like it, am I?
What? If we investigate your death, again?
I don't think that's really going to help, is it?
What have we got to lose? It's the only lead we've got, unless you've found where I die.
Well, no, I haven't, but...
Groaning, as he rubbed his face, he looked over to me.
But this is the last time, okay? I want to help, but I don't like thinking about this sort of stuff, alright?
Okay. We got up and wandered out to the rec room, and down towards the foyer, from there, the basement. Together we made a beeline to the vault, but as soon as I was about to follow Orlando into the adjacent room, I felt a pair of eyes on me from somewhere in the darkness. By the time I had turned, all I saw was the tip of Tyson's tail disappearing up the stairs we'd just come down. I didn't even notice we'd passed him.
Alright, we're here. Let's get this over with.
Okay, so what do we do now? What do we know? Okay.
We're going through it, all this, from the beginning. Should we go get Roswell?
I don't think we need Roswell so much. Yeah.
What?
Well, you raise a good point, though. Roswell, I don't think we wouldn't have gotten far without him. That's kind of why we were stuck originally, wasn't it?
Right. If I remember correctly, you said that I was in this room, dead, and there was a knife?
Right. No blood, no wounds I could see. Nothing. That was it.
That's still very worrying. Are you sure I didn't breathe in some sort of, neurotoxin or something and just I fell over?
Didn't Roswell point out that this room is just solid, no vents or anything? Plus, you could have just left when you noticed the air smelling off, too.
Right, so we can rule out being gassed. Just in the same way we can rule out being poisoned, too.
Right. I think you mentioned it once about how you can't get drunk.
I can still get drunk, but it's going to take a lot given how fast I burn off the alcohol internally. But that's not the only reason we can rule out poisoning.
What's the other reason? With a thumb, Orlando flicked his necklace.
There's something Grandpa left me, just in case something like that happens. Given I'm the son of, well, a crime syndicate.
Well, how is a necklace going to save you from poisoning?
By eating it.
Uh-huh. I look it over from where I stood in front of him. It looked like some kind of crystal. Maybe even rock candy if the person in front of me was Roswell instead of Orlando.
Trust me, it'd help.
How? It's just a rock, isn't it?
Nope. It's a special, I guess rock isn't really the right word either, but, have you ever heard of a bizarre
word? Why, no. I haven't heard of such a thing. Why do I have a notification? Oh, it's just that. Okay. Oh. Oh, what's this? Oh. I shouldn't be looking at that. Sorry, I should be, Bizarre. Definition. Okay. Bezoar. What? Is a solid mass of indigestible material that accumulates in your digestive tract, sometimes causing a blockage. Bizarre usually form in the stomach, sometimes in the small intestine, or rarely the large intestine. They can occur in children and adults. Okay. What does Webster say?
Bezoar.
I'll turn that up a bit more.
Bezoar.
Okay. Any of various calculi found chiefly. What are these words? In the gastrointestinal organs, and formerly believed to possess magical practical what? Okay. Sure, I think I get the picture. Bless you.
Dave, come on, be serious.
But what is it? Nothing I've heard of before anyway.
Go with me on this, because this is kind of going to be a little gross, but it's a rock-like thing that can grow in your stomach.
Ew?
I said, go with me on this.
That came out of your belly?
Grandma's, actually.
And that's better how?
Look, sometimes these crystallize in our stomachs, and it's almost like eating charcoal, or whatever for some kind of, for other kinds of poisoning. Grandpa had his removed, and then figured that it was a way to keep me safe in an unassuming way.
Okay, but like, what was that was in someone's stomach, and you would eat it?
If I had a choice between dying from poison or eating something potentially gross, then yeah, I'd eat it. I don't see what the big deal is. This is old medicine, after all.
I scratched my neck, not convinced, but at least I understood. Okay, so we can rule out poison. That leaves...
Roswell said there could be an injection, right? That stuff they use on criminals on death row.
Right, but that would involve someone getting close enough to you that you wouldn't stab them first.
Given how I was ready, that doesn't leave with many options.
Which leaves... which we've already been over, right?
So, who was it likely to be? Chances are, either you or Sal, but, and it doesn't, seem right that, you'd then, stop me from going through it, through it, if you wanted me dead.
Which leaves Sal, but...
He wouldn't do that either. Not willing.
Not willingly. Huh. Right. After that whole talk, you two had your... After that whole talk you two had, you're solidly like Ty and me. Brothers, sorta, but not exactly, but basically the same.
There's another option, you know.
Oh, yeah? Who?
What if Roswell said what Roswell said was right about it being that, stuff, then what about Oswin?
I guess that could be possible. He'd at least be able to have access to it.
That's what I was thinking. If he looks enough like a doctor to play that part, he might have just been able to get some. Or maybe he has some left over from when he was a doctor.
I don't think that's how that works. Mom doesn't have that sort of stuff, just in the back of the house, you know.
I guess you're right. There's something else, though.
What? Orlando fidgeted slightly, before wandering over to the door leading into the room.
Someone would have seen someone with a syringe, right? Or even an injection gun.
Huh? I might have a solution to that, too.
You do?
Yeah, there's a secret passage in the basement that leads up to the library.
Has anyone else been told about this? When did you find out?
I laughed, nervously as Orlando spun me around and marched us both into the basement proper.
Where is this passage?
Just wandering over to the wall, I opened it up, looking beyond into the darkness. Beyond, there was the library and Oswin's lab, but the more I waited, the more I wondered if Orlando was going to head on in. Did you want to go investigate?
What?
Like down here.
Do we have to? We just know it exists now, right?
I guess. Closing the door, I turned back to Orlando, fidgeting with his fingers. What's wrong?
How many people know about this entrance? The person who took it, could easily have avoided everyone on their way to the vault, right?
Scratching my chin, I turned to puzzle it out. Oswin's lab is down that way too, so if there was an injection gun from there on the way, well...
So it could have been Oswin or Benson. Unless someone else knew about the passage, we don't really have anyone else to suspect, right?
Right. The next minute we spent in silence, looking at the floor.
We're no closer to figuring out why any of this is happening, are we?
I don't think so. We have no solid suspect, or a motive, or anything. All we've got is that your dad wants the vault, and that's it.
If we had reception, I'd try and call Grandpa. He might know what to do. About Dad, at least.
Wait, what? Did you say he was dead?
I did, yes.
You can't call ghosts, Orlando.
I might have over-exaggerated. Or lied. Not for bad reasons, just it's complicated.
Complicated how?
Grandpa's old, very old, even for dragon standards, but he's, well, not there anymore. Not all the time, anyway.
I don't think I quite understand.
He's considered dead by family standards. I think as far as family position is concerned, he's still in an advisory role, but only out of formality. Most of the time, he just doesn't act like himself. Dementia, I think.
Oh, so he's...
Very rarely do I get to talk to Grandpa, the Grandpa I remember. Probably might not ever again. Last time he was lucid, he gave me his, Bezoar, and, told me to be safe.
Huh? I thought back to what was behind the vault. What Osmond had told me on the first night we spoken. Some miracle cure-all that could fix anything. Maybe your dad wants what's behind the vault.
Behind it? Not the thing itself?
Well, what if there was something inside of it that was really valuable? Something that could fix your grandpa? Orlando tensed, looking back at the door leading to the vault and bunching the bottom of his shirt in a fist. Did I say that? What? Bunching the bottom of his shirt up into his fist. Okay. I'm just saying, maybe your dad wants to fix your grandpa.
Or as insurance that Grandpa can't get better. Dad is the head of the family now, and if Grandpa was suddenly better, I imagine things might get heated and quickly.
He can't just tell your dad no, can he?
Well, not really. But he commands enough respect that he alone could probably cause a rift in the family. But I don't know, how that'd change much.
At least he's not dead, right? That's a good thing.
I suppose. Sometimes I think it's better if he was. Otherwise, it just, it's just like seeing someone else wearing his body. And, taking his spot in the world.
At least that doesn't happen.
I think the one thing I'm thankful for is Grandpa, released, Watanuki-senpai from service. I don't want to know what Dad would do with a Tanuki that, could actually transform into other people.
I started to chuckle, assuming it was a joke before noticing Orlando's expression hadn't changed. Wait, those exist?
The gene is rare, but yeah. Made sure that even if Dad wanted to use him, he couldn't be, given his scar on his face. Those scars would be a dead giveaway. If he transformed into someone else, couldn't, shift without them appearing.
Well, I suppose if we see someone with face scars, we might need to worry, but otherwise, we're all right.
Oh no, I don't think you'll need to worry about that. I think Remy had his across the bridge of his nose and his cheek. If you see those, then well, let me know and I'll be able to tell you if it's a Tanuki in disguise or not.
Nodding slowly, I sighed, scratching the back of my head. All right, well, next we have...
We're not done?
Well, not really. There's the password to sort out.
Oh, right. Well, hit me with it. How bad?
You sure? It's kinda messy.
I told you about how you died. It's only fair.
Well, alright. Tyson goes feral on the full moon. He tears into you pretty bad. It was hard to make out what was left. Orlando shuddered, and I swear he went more pale in what light we had.
Okay, that's fine. I just have to stay away from him, right?
I don't know anything else about it, but I think we should find out what the cause is.
What do we have to go off of?
Just the full moon, really. Oh, and the password itself. Something clicked in Orlando's head as the next look he gave me was the most epitome? Was the epitome. Is that? Yeah, sure. This episode's gonna run long. I kind of want to try to blitz through it because it's only day 18, right? Okay. Epitome. Whoops. In dictionary.
Epitome.
Epitome? Fuck, I know that word. I don't want to read a single comment about that. Okay. It's just between us.
Don't say it.
But it's important.
I can put two and two together. Just, I don't think that would be, something to worry about now.
The only other thing we've got to go off of is Tyson's behavior lately. He's not himself.
Got any idea of the cause?
Nothing solid that but I figured I'd start with checking out his bedroom. He said that that his headache was pretty bad, so maybe he's not sleeping right.
Alright, well in that case, I'll check with Roswell when the next full moon is.
Why Roswell?
He was right about one thing when he said we did this investigation the first time. He's academically inclined, so he's bound to know. More so than Sal, at least. But if I run into anyone, I'll ask them on the same.
When we're done, meet in the kitchen, maybe?
Alright, shouldn't take too long to find the answer to our question, so I'll have the kettle going by the time you get back.
We split off to begin our search, or really, me beginning mine, and Orlando likely just heading to the kitchen to keep his mind off of what was happening. I'm guessing this is going to be mostly the same. So, yeah. I made my way back down to the foyer and took a turn into the dining room. The sound of the others were apparent in the room, but having not run into anyone else, I started to worry. My worries weren't put aside the moment I saw Orlando in the kitchen, sitting on one side of the stool with a cup of tea, just looking out the window.
You're back!
Sorry, were you waiting long?
Not really. Had to hunt down Roswell, but he knew the answer right away, as far as a full moon. So a lot of my time was just looking for him.
Well, that's good. One less thing to worry about.
How'd your search go?
I found what was causing his headache. It was, something making a noise. A really annoying noise.
Really? That was it?
Yeah. I'll look over as I sat down, grimacing. Well, there was a bunch of things in his room, too. Stuff he'd taken from around the house.
Stealing.
Yeah, and I get why, given things have been rough for him for a long time. The idea of being able to take things to make up for what you don't have makes sense, but it's still wrong. What? Sorry, it sounded like someone was like drag racing. Like, okay. Like, it's 3 in the morning, buddy. Like, I get it. There's no cops around, probably, but, like, you do you. Maybe this will be something to keep him from picking up things not belonging to him for, though.
Can only hope so. Who knows what would have happened had he not found the thing right.
We know what would have happened, Orlando. You would have died. He nodded slowly, drinking his tea quietly.
Assuming that fixes the problem, then we don't need to worry about tomorrow night, when the moon is full.
Nodding slowly, I got up and made myself some coffee, and joining Orlando, back where he sat and thought it over. So, just need to babysit Tyson for tonight and tomorrow night, then we're in the clear.
You make it sound so easy.
Not like we have a choice.
We can tell the others, get them to keep him in check.
But what if one of us is behind making him go nuts, or was behind killing you? We'd just be telling them that we know the plan. We know what the plan is now, and they would change it.
Oh, right.
After all, I think we should talk about it. Or talk about what our move should be afterwards. At the point, whoever was behind it would know they failed anyway. It was, I don't think, like I don't want to think it's a Dean, that like Dean is helping, but like there's a lot of little things that make me go like, is it Dean? I don't want to blame Dean. I mean, I'm glad that it's not Tyson. I guess I'd throw Dean under the bus if I got to like be with Tyson for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Why do you ask?
Just making sure that you're not bottling anything up. That you're just venting, I guess. I don't know.
What about you? What are you bottling up?
I'm not bottling anything up.
Listen, Orlando, I meant what I said before about thing vacation having changed us. This vacation. About thing vacation? About vacation. This seems weird. You're not the person what I meant is,
What?
do you really want me and Dean to be dating? Like, really?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think I mind who you're dating. Dean's just, well, he's there. He's with you. He's into you. You're into him. It doesn't involve me, does it?
So if there was someone else,
Given what I've got waiting for me after the month, I'd probably push you and them together just as much as you and Dean. Not that there's anyone else is there.
I left the question unanswered, drinking from my coffee instead.
I just want someone to take my place is all, so you're not lonely.
That's a little insulting, don't you think?
Sorry, I didn't mean to insult you.
Thanks, but I also meant to you, thinking you can just be replaced like that.
Right.
Plus, there was some good to come of this. I have a brother now, or realized I had something just as good. So whatever happens, I'm not going to be alone, at least not forever.
Well, so long as you don't go dating him, I guess that's fine.
So anyone doesn't include Tyson?
Well, if anything, I'd want to hear about it. That sounds like, well, quite the love story, if I'm being honest. Admittedly, I've missed a whole lot of his nicer side, so while what he did to you and Roswell as kids was bad.
He looked conflicted, but I nodded slowly. I was bad at explaining about what was changing in my life. It was easier. I was happy, and I didn't think about how Roswell would react either.
It worked out at least, right? I'm just surprised you kept it from me. Kept it from me for so long that I didn't notice.
Just like how I didn't notice about you being in a crime family.
Yeah, that's fair.
So when this month is up, what was happening to your family? What was meant to happen with your family?
At first, it was going to be a trip to Japan, consult with Grandpa, and then, well, training, really.
What would they even train you in?
How to hide a body, I don't know. But I'm not looking forward to it. What kind of person I'd be after?
I took his hand in mine and looked him in the eyes. You'll be you, Orlando. You'll always be you. He squeezed my hand back, flashing me a quick smile.
Dave, I need to come clean about something. Just don't be mad, alright?
What did you do?
Tomorrow night, I'm going to cook you dinner. Do something special for you and Dean, you know, like...
A date?
It's dumb, but I wanted to do something nice. Just while we could.
It's okay. That sounds kind of nice, actually. It was only partially a lie, mostly out of worry if it was the right time for it, but the prospect of having a nice dinner was exciting all the same. Just need to make sure it doesn't get in the way of making sure Tyson stays out of trouble, and we'll be fine.
Oh, right.
I should have it handled, though. Orlando nodded along, draining the rest of his tea and draining. Okay. Getting up to make some more.
Come on, let's get a refill, and let's play some games until dinner.
Just like that, we grabbed our drinks and headed upstairs to relax in the room I'd originally found him in. His game was still paused, thankfully, and he seemed to be in a better mood as he started to play with me and watching. Okay, yeah, this scene. Any scene with Thanatos is a good scene. Good thing it's not the experiment anymore, then, is it? Then whose was it? Okay. I don't know why was that scene really. Yeah, good boy. Okay. I went on autopilot, so I headed up to Orlando's room, closing the door behind me.
Everything all right?
Yeah, just I pulled off my shirt and it collapsed on the bed, stretching out. My solution to the Tyson problem, is for him to just use my bed. That way, if there was something I missed when I checked his room, he's not in it to be affected.
Oh, well, sure. You can bunk up with me tonight, no problem.
Why can't I just bunk up with Tyson? Huh? Right? I don't care if I'm on someone else's route. Like, sorry for not checking first. I assumed it would be fine.
You're lucky that you have pre-approval otherwise. You should have run your plan with me before doing it.
Yeah, I know.
Did you want to shower here too?
So long as you don't mind me sleeping in my underwear.
You could sleep in nothing at all, and that'd be fine too. Not that I want you to, I'm just saying.
He's skirted around me and switched off the lights before wandering over to the adjoining bathroom, and opening the door for me.
Go get clean. I'll start warming up the bed.
All right, I won't be long. Orlando wandered over to the bed while I disappeared into the bathroom to have a shower. Not long after, I wandered back into the bed with my clothes folded, clad in only my underwear, and followed the soft glow of Orlando's body towards the bed. Soft glow? As I got in, he made room for me, quickly cradling me in his warmth. It was not long after that that peaceful sleep found me, worries fading from my mind. Okay, so we, yeah, let's, save. Title. Okay. So I know that there is an update with Tyson and Dean's day 19, so I'll do those next. Okay. I was told that that day 19 determines if you're boyfriends or not. And I don't know if, did I get enough points to be with Tyson? I don't know. I did a few platonic choices toward the beginning of the game, but I always took every opportunity to hang out with Tyson, so would that help counterbalance that? I don't know. I feel like if so what I'm thinking of doing, because I just want to, because I don't want to, this game's complicated. It's got a lot of shit going on. I was thinking of maybe doing some streams of me reading Tyson's route, live for the audience. It'd be a good time. I think I mentioned it earlier in this part. Probably I did. Because I also kind of want to do that with Echo, and do a solo reading of Leo's route for reasons. So that I could be reading it and you all will be there, and maybe that'd be nice. Kind of like what I'm doing with Arches. And the new episode of Arches is coming out, but it's gonna be Patreon first only. So I'm excited about that, but I won't be streaming it until the public one comes out. It'll be good, right? Anyway, I'll see you around, everyone.